Hi, I'm Kyle Ortiz, and this is my renovation story. Come on in. I've been DIYing for a long time, but when I moved into this house, I wanted to document that process. And so I created an Instagram page and I started sharing all the projects that I do here at the house. Every project I did, I recorded, and everything that I shared, people liked it, and I started to grow this following. I think it combined with not having a lot of money and kind of having the necessity to make a home that fit our growing family, and then just kind of figuring out how to do it. And over the last few years, it's really kind of become my whole job. I left my normal job to do this full time. I'm all self-taught. I learned how to do pretty much everything that I've done in this house and in previous houses from YouTube. So there's this whole full circle moment where now I am teaching people online how to do projects in their homes, when I have, for the last 10 years, been learning from people online how to do projects in their homes. I'm a DIY dad and a full-time content creator. I live here with my family, my wife Amanda, and our 3 children, Jonah, Emma, and Samson. Jonah is 10, Emma is 7, and Samson is 4. I'm just like every dad. I'm trying to juggle being a husband and taking care of my kids and all the normal parts of life while I'm renovating this house one room at a time. This is the kitchen, and this is probably my biggest, low cost, high impact renovation that I've done. It was basically super brown. It had dark brown cabinetry, had this stacked stone backsplash. The whole house looked like Olive Garden. Lots of dark wood, lots of dark flooring. It was just like a time capsule of 2013. It looked like that year if it was personified. Not current at all. The floors were a big part of that. They were this really dark laminate that matched the espresso brown cabinets, and then dark brown walls. So I replaced all of the flooring with this really nice engineered hardwood, and I went through the entire lower level of the house, and it just has brightened up the entire space so much. When I moved into this house, I probably had done floors 3 times or 4 times. But when I did these floors, I really perfected the way that I lay flooring, and I probably could do it as a job. Just saying. I really love the floors, actually. They're my favorite. The cabinets were in really good shape. They just had that horrible stain, that dark espresso stain. So I just gave them a fresh coat of paint. Green was the color that I liked, and it's just the perfect green. Perfect green. I love it. Paint is this low cost, high impact way of changing a space and making it current. So I've used paint in a bunch of different places in the house to make a big impact. In closet doors, baseboards in different spaces. A gallon of paint is 40 bucks, and I always say that you can never underestimate the power of a gallon of paint. I did add some new hardware, but even the hardware is from Amazon. It's really inexpensive. But other than that, the cabinets are mainly how they were. We didn't have the budget to change the cabinets. We did not have the budget to change out the countertops. I don't have that kind of money. So we knew that those 2 things were gonna have to stay. So we had to stick with the countertops the way that they were, and then to brighten up the entire space and to make it look more like our home. We did the backsplash and built some floating shelves. I decided to bring in some tile underneath to kind of make the space feel more customized. I intentionally went with this stacked vertical look because I wanted to minimize the amount of cuts that I had to make on the wet saw. And so I had to make very few cuts just around the outlets and things like that. Every time I tile, I say that I'm never gonna tile again because of how much I hate tiling. But it's so hard to not tile again because of how good it looks and how inexpensive it is if you pick in-stock tile. This whole backsplash cost me $97 in material. Plus maybe 3 days of work. That wall was a lot harder. Hexagon tile is one of those things that I wasn't prepared for how difficult it was going to be. Because instead of just having 4 sides to match up, is it 6? You have 6 sides that you have to line up, and getting them all to be correct was just a pain in the butt. But now I love it. It's one of my favorite parts of the kitchen, and it adds this really cool focal point in here. And it accentuates this giant window that we have, which I love. It's my favorite place to be. The hexagon tile was a nightmare. The whole thing was a nightmare. Cost-wise, it was really inexpensive, but the cost to my mental health was high. So it was a lot of work. So altogether, I was able to do this entire renovation in 8 weeks, and it was $1,700. Working full-time, working on the evenings after I got off of work for the day, and then working on the weekends. $1,700 all in. Tile, drywall, Even the brackets for the shelves were all part of that total cost. And there was a lot of things I didn't know how to do, but I think that really speaks to doing things yourself, low cost, high impact. It really makes a huge difference. And I still love this room. It's been 3 years and I still love this space. And I think it was maybe the best $1,700 I have ever spent. So before we head upstairs, there's one thing that I wanted to show you right here. We had this closet that was right here by the entryway, and I'm pretty sure we put stuff in it when we moved in, and then we didn't open it until like 3 months ago. So I transformed it into this like functional drop zone for my kids. So each kid has their own little cubby down here where they can put all their stuff. It's just a really organized space, and then I can take the baskets out and say, take your basket upstairs and go put all your stuff away. And then they have a space where they can hang up their backpacks, and then I have a water bottle filler actually on the wall so that they can get water as they're on their way out the door. They love that we have a bottle filler here, and they actually use it all the time. I'm always trying to find ways to make this home as functional as it can be, because I find that that makes my life smoother. It makes my life more efficient. So I just did it because I had to get it done. And it probably would have cost me like $5,000. And I don't have $5,000 to spend on something like that. So this is our family room. I actually just completed this space pretty recently. It was just a box, just like every other room in this house, just like a basic box. Never hung out in here. And so I wanted to make this space a lot more conducive to hanging out and relaxing. One of the main things that I did was add this like trim molding on the walls, and it's actually really, really simple to do. I did do new baseboards, new door casings, just to kind of like bring it to match the downstairs. Cut it all up, put it all on here, and gave everything a fresh coat of paint, and it just looks a lot nicer than what the builder put in. It's like really chill and cool. My kids think it's awesome, and it's super comfortable. I wanted to do something to that space to make it just look a little bit more elevated. And it transformed this basic, boring box into this very fun and relaxing place to watch TV, hang out with the kids, and just like relax. It was $120 for the trim molding pieces, and then all the baseboards and stuff was $60. I already had a gallon of paint that I needed, so excluding the furniture, this room was done for less than 200 bucks. It took me 4 days to get it done, and it looks really great. So this is the kids' bathroom, and it was just a standard basic bathroom, and I wanted something that was gonna be really fun and exciting for the kids. They kind of all agreed on the final colors, and then I executed the design. So there's a little pink, there's a little blue, there's some fun zebras, and it's just like a fun, exciting place. I also did all new door casings. I added this paneling around the perimeter here. I did a tile backsplash, I did 2 separate mirrors, and then I found this vanity on Craigslist actually. And then I redid all the tile flooring, and then I put some wallpaper on the walls just to make it fun and bright. It just has totally transformed that entire space. We love it. On the other side of this wall is the laundry room, which I also renovated to make more functional for our family. It looks completely different than it used to before. There was no sink, and I really, really, really wanted a sink. My kids make giant messes, so being able to soak things in a sink was really important to have. And because the kids' bathroom is right on the other side of this wall here, I was able to just tap into the plumbing that was there. Now there's a sink. And then I got a stacked washer and dryer unit, and that freed up this counter space here. Butcher block was pretty inexpensive, and I was able to install that and use that as countertop, and then beadboard instead of actual tile backsplash. And then we have like a whole folding area over there, which is really functional. I wanted to do something that was like avocado green, harvest gold, Brady Bunch, 1970s, those kinds of vibes. I think it looks great, and all this stuff is pretty cheap. So this is my daughter's room, and whenever it comes to designing a room for my kids, I really want the room to be inspiring for them. I want it to match their style, things that they're interested in. In this room specifically, I really wanted my daughter to feel empowered, creative. She's a very creative person, so I wanted her to feel like this is her space. I want her to know that she can be anything and do anything, and I want her room to be reflective of the way that she feels about herself. I think the space you live in can kind of dictate your outlook on life. So everything from the artwork to the colors that I picked in that room was all specifically picked to not only match her personality and her style, but to be something that inspires her, that made her feel empowered to be all the different things that she really can be. I want her to feel like she can do anything. So I wanted to go with pink, but like more accented, more mellow, more relaxed. I installed new baseboards. I painted them the fun pink color to match the accent wall. On her wall where her bed is, I installed like a faux board and batten kind of a treatment. And then I painted that entire thing. And then I did this really cool chalkboard thing. She's very artistic. This is like $20 for a little quart of chalk paint. And then I just painted the shape of a house and then I trimmed it out with this 1x3 pine. I wanted them to not be encouraged to carry the chalk outside of the chalkboard. And it works. I always have a pretty tight budget. There's a lot of spaces that I want to do. There's still parts of this house that I haven't done yet. And my kids are young. And so as they grow older, their tastes are going to change. And so keeping things simple, keeping the costs low to start in a way that their styles can evolve without like making big changes mean that when it is time to change something or when they do want to change something, it doesn't feel like a waste of time or a waste of money. I can easily update this entire space in a weekend, and that's one of my favorite parts of learning how to do all these things, is being able to make spaces that my kids love and that my family loves. And at the end of the day, if I spent $200 in this room and then 3 years go by and I want to change it, or she wants me to change it, spending another $200 or $300 is not that big of a deal, and I can make that happen for her. So I like doing it. My youngest son, Samson, has the smallest room in the house. He also has like the biggest personality. So I wanted to give him a room that was really fun to look at, like visually fun for him to be in. And so my wife is very artistic, great with her freehand. And so she free-handed the mural on the wall. And then I came in and I painted it. And then I pulled one of the colors out of there and I pulled that into the baseboards or the doors. And then I had these IKEA cabinets that we have had for 10 years now. And they've been in every single kid's room, and they ended up in his room. I painted those with clearance cabinet paint that I found at Home Depot for like $6. So I'm always trying to keep costs as low as possible. So if I see a paint color that I like on clearance, I'm gonna grab it. My other son, Jonah, is 10 years old, and I said, what colors do you want for your room? Like, what colors do you like? And he said blue was his main color that he wanted. And I said, okay, let's pick an accent color. And he landed on yellow, and the two look great. And then that mustard color is inside his closet. So when you open his closet doors, you're hit with this really bright, fun mustard yellow. And it's just like one of those really custom parts of this house that people are probably gonna hate when they move in here, but I just love it, and I don't care about the next person who lives here. I really don't. In my room, I still wanted there to be a focal point in the room for us, and so I ended up painting this arch, and we love it. It's really calming, and it has like mid-century modern vibes, and I couldn't decide what headboard I wanted, so I just painted one, and it looks like a nice, comfortable sunset. I needed something that was gonna anchor the room and look nice, but not break the bank. So I spent $13 on 1 quart of paint to bring in warmth and make it look more like us. Paint is just an easy way to update a space. This home is so special to me because it has quite literally changed my entire life. And now making this home special to us and showing other people how they can do the same thing at their homes as well, that's defined me completely. I have loved transforming this home, and I don't know if I'll ever be done doing it, really. I think I'll always have a project to do around here. There's this line from Father of the Bride. I want to get it tattooed on me. This house is warm in the winter, it's cool in the summer, and it looks spectacular with Christmas lights. And that totally captures this house. And I would go back and I would do it again and again and again because of how much of an impact it's made. Like this video and subscribe to HGTV for more renovation stories just like this.